On this episode of Cosmic Cantina, we discuss Satanism, how Lucifer is in fact not Satan. Then, Josh regales us with his childhood story of stumbling across a sacrificial site. I'm your host, Melissa Tittle, and every week I go to my favorite bar, Cosmic Cantina, and kick back with my co-hosts, Josh Golombeski and Matt O'Connor. We talk about aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, ancient cultures, and anything from the unseen world that needs a little illumination. All right, welcome to Cosmic Cantina. Woo. We're back for another round of crazy, weird stuff.
Hell yeah, we are.
Yes.
Tonight, well, at least I'm drinking this Pinot Noir called Girasol Vineyards. It's all organic grapes. Girasol. Forget all your problems. So that's today.
Wash your problems away.
That's like
Did you want some of this?
Tonight I'm drinking a little whiskey, a little Bailey's coffee here.
Okay.
Nice.
Gotta wake up a little bit, yeah. A little whiskey. What about
I'm just on the kombucha. Drinking's been getting a little out of hand for me lately, so I'm gonna dry out for a bit.
You do have Irish and Australian going for you.
Yeah.
So once in a while, I gotta take a break.
I'm broken.
Good for you.
Yeah.
He's being responsible.
Yeah.
Someone has to be.
Yeah.
This podcast
One of
is
us
out
has
of control.
to, and I have.
Josh, it's your turn to make inappropriate comments.
Don't worry, I got plenty.
Oh, I'll still make a right tit of myself. Don't worry about that.
I can't compete with his Australianisms. It's too awesome.
All right. So I came across this article in Wired, and I thought the title was super funny. It says, "The Satanic Temple is no laughing matter." I thought, oh, God, they've actually sacrificed somebody. So the article really features, it talks about this documentary called Hail Satan, and it's about the temple, and the author kind of breaks it down, like what happens in the temple and what's temple about, but the temple isn't about Satan worshiping. There's no sacrificing happening. It's a church where they're using the idea of Satan to protect the beliefs of the state or the country.
So it's good Satan?
Yeah, it's like they're using the idea of Satan as a joke, meaning they're trying to separate church and state.
Okay.
They like fight for equal rights and social justice. The Satanic Temple is registered as an actual tax exempted chapter in the United States. So they're legit. They want to encourage benevolence and empathy among all people.
Oh, wow.
So it's a
They're
little
so sweet.
It's strange. This article is strange because it talks about how people like feel like they're really fighting for social justice, but they're not. They come out of there like not knowing if they believe in Satan or not. So it's a little funny.
This is not the Satan I know.
When I was going through this article and I was reading more about the Satanic Temple, and you can Wikipedia it, you can learn all about what they fight for. I kind of reminded me of Gnosticism, which was back in, I think, 2nd century AD. Gnosticism belief system is based on the fact that matter is evil, and a demiurge has created matter so that we can commit sin. So once you separate yourself from matter and you realize that everything's been created to tempt you, then you can understand how the world works. It's kind of the Gnosticism belief. And they also worship Lucifer. It's a belief system that venerates the essential characteristics that are affixed to Lucifer.
Wait, the Gnostics worship Lucifer?
Yes.
The fallen angel Lucifer?
Yes, the light bringer. It's all about illumination. Once you see how the world is created and made and who made it, then you become powerful. So that, like, Lucifer is the light bringer, right? So that's why they kind of worship Lucifer, not as a devil, but as a liberator, a guardian, or guiding spirit, or even to them, the true God. So this kind of, in a way, this Satan temple, not quite the same, but reminded me of the Gnostic fight against, at that time, what was happening in the current world. Like the powers of system between church and state and how much power they had versus what they thought was true power, which was being in touch with the divine themselves as an individual and having true power.
Interesting.
So I kind of wanted to discuss what is actually evil, because I think all of us in this room can say we think that there's some kind of devil, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of evil, but is it Lucifer? Is it Satan? Like, what, there's lots of ideas of devil worshiping, and there's human sacrifice, and we can go on and on about that. But so there's evil, but like, Is it Satan or is it Lucifer?
Is that the same term, though? I always
No, it's not. So I want to jump on this real quick.
break it down.
Because I fucking hate it how people get Lucifer and the devil and Satan, and it's all one term, and it's not like Lucifer literally has nothing to do with Satan or the devil. It's literally the name for Venus, the morning star. Lucifer being the light bearer, the light bringer. It's basically the herald for the sun rising, and so you see that sun, the Venus, the star in the morning that rises just before the sun.
So it's not connected to the Christian version of the devil at all. It's not a fallen angel.
No, in fact,
it's not even related to
It's
Catholicism.
mentioned only once in the Bible, Lucifer.
So it's older than the Bible in a sense.
Yeah, but it's relating to what King of Babylon. He was
There
called
was a
the-
mix-up where
Yeah.
he was referred to as Lucifer or something like that.
The
Because
light. He was referred to as the light bringer, which
Right.
then got translated into Lucifer. But basically, he was a bad king,
Yeah.
and they were saying, "Oh,
Okay.
finally, you're going to be stripped from your light, and you're going to come down to earth, and
Yeah.
you're going to crash with the rest of us."
So he the Babylonian king, I forget what his name was, but he denounced all God and said he was above God, and then his kingdom basically proceeded to crumble, and it was like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, not straight away. It was just like he just fucked up, and they attributed that to his like egotistical bashing of God, and then
Really?
I forget why exactly he was referred to as the Lucifer. It was, I don't know, but
well, because they called him. This is the king of Babylon. He
Yeah.
wanted to build like a tower to God, right? The Tower of Babel, if you will. And
Oh, that
of
guy.
course that fell.
Yeah.
And they called him the light bringer or the light bearer, this king, because that's
Yeah.
what he was going for. He was going to bring down the light, right?
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
then
yeah, that's
somehow,
right.
because Venus is attributed to Lucifer, which means the light bringer or the bringer of light, somehow that got transferred as then that's Lucifer and that's bad.
Huh.
So there's
I mean,
actually that's the
I
only
like-
mention in the Bible.
Like just about everything biblical and written in the Bible, it's been completely like misinterpreted, mistranslated, and it's completely wrong from the original text.
Yeah.
And it's been,
There's a little bit of parallel there, though. Something like knowledge falling from above, coming from above. It's the same kind of story
Kind of, yeah.
as Satan falling from above. And if you look at that story
Yeah.
differently, it could be, if
Like
it's
the
not
fallen angel.
a fallen angel, if you look at it differently, like it's not a bad thing, that fallen angel could be someone falling with knowledge to illuminate us all.
yeah.
Because there's those theories out there that Satan isn't actually bad, that it's all just a myth propagated against us. That
Well, it's
actually,
like the snake in the Garden of Eden, who brings knowledge to man, Adam
Right.
and Eve.
is
It's
that
like-
necessarily bad? I mean, it's just a PR thing, right? It could be bad or good. What type
right?
of knowledge
Exactly.
is it?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. Want to get out of the garden? Or you want to stay?
Yeah.
gonna be.
I mean, it's literally what he was just bringing knowledge to him, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay,
well, I guess that's bad.
and that's bad,
Right? No?
yeah.
Right, but I think it just got a bad rap. But there's definitely evil.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yep.
like Satan has a little bit more weight in that game. I mean, there's definitely the idea of devil in the Bible, right? So, but then what's that, right? So how do you know the difference between true evil and just propaganded evil, right? Because the satanic temple, it uses Baphomet. Like literally, I'm looking at that article and I'm looking at this massive statue of Baphomet, which is like this evil symbol with the goat-headed horns and all that kind of stuff. But they're only using it to say, like, it's like a place of power, right? But they don't act on it. They don't make pentagrams and do satanic rituals, as far as I know. They're
Right.
just fighting for a fight between church and state.
So it's almost been hijacked over time by certain groups to be used as evil, when really the lens might not necessarily be evil. So someone might take that idea and use it to propagate animal sacrifice and do evil shit, but really the whole
Yeah.
time it hasn't been that? Is that what we're saying here?
But I think there is really evil, because
Sure, yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
when you do human sacrifices, of course, we all know that's been in history for a long time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, look at the Aztecs, and there's lots of cultures and ancient civilizations that have done the same thing. Like, that is evil, because you're literally taking somebody's life force and igniting a deity or an entity to give you power.
Right.
And that is evil. For this discussion, it's like, well, how do we draw the line between real evil and just propaganded evil?
That is tough. Like, you don't know.
I mean,
because like you see millions of people just doing evil shit because they think it's the right thing to do. They all become defenders of the status quo. They think people of a different religion or culture are bad because our media told us to be. And then all suddenly we gotta get them because they're gonna get us. A lot of it just ends up being that. You think they're gonna kill us. You think they're evil because they're gonna take from us. So therefore, we commit evil acts to keep them down. They think we're evil.
I agree with you what you said earlier. I read this article from Psychology Today where a psychologist broke down like what is evil within humans, and of course he made it all like, very technical. So it's just the neurons aren't firing correctly, and there's some misconception happening in the brain, and it happens because of emotional trauma and physical trauma, and sometimes parts of your brain just don't work, and then you create evil acts because not everything's functioning in the brain. I'm like, well, okay, well...
Right.
So it's a lack of empathy.
Right.
Which gets back to do unto others, the golden rule again.
Ooh, that's interesting, because empathy can be at the individual level, like if something's wrong with your brain, or an entire population who's healthy can not have empathy for another culture or the enemy, whoever the enemy is. Yeah. So then, therefore, you can commit evil acts. I'm like, I mean, as an American, I'm like, get those terrorists, get them, I hate them, but then the terrorists are doing the same thing to us, and they have their reasons that are just as equal as ours of why they're doing it. So, like, who's evil?
So who's evil? Right.
Right, you know what I mean? I'm not saying
they're
I'm on their
justified
side here, I'm just making a point.
on what they think is justice, and we're justified on what we think is justice. And isn't that just the big evil plan of it all?
Yeah. Right. That's what most evil is, though. Most of it, I think, what are we trying to get at here, though? Like the real cases of real pure evil, not just even serial killers or just like certain dictators who manipulate a population into doing something horrible like the Holocaust. Like, what is true evil? What is real evil? Is it just mental imbalance? Is it just people in power and dealing with an ignorant population and getting them to march into a battlefield for you? Like, what is it? Is it beyond that? Can evil only be committed if it's some sort of entity is attached to you? Is it real evil, or is it just brain chemistry?
Yeah, is it some sort of influence from a entity
source
from the other side of whatever reality dimension that has ill will towards us as a race of people, human race?
Or just wants to feed on us, or take from our
just
energy.
Feeds off us.
The classic, motif of like some entity wanting to feed on our fear.
Yeah,
I like that shit. That just
and then you do evil things because you're afraid.
Right.
Because what happens if you don't have that good thing? Then somebody takes it away.
Yeah.
Right? So then you have to create evil to keep it. It's like a bartering system.
Yeah.
With the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, you brought up the Holocaust. Terrible, terrible, evil situation. Could it just be one guy, Hitler? No, of course he had a whole party that's surrounding him. But what were they influenced by? Did they just wake up one day and be like, I hate this group of people? Maybe they had some emotional trauma growing up. I mean, there's tons of History Channel documentaries about this, but
yeah, right.
But it's just like to that extent of evil. Like it's got.
Like, how do you get there? Because even if you're like one of those people who believes like you need how there's that, I forget who said it, the philosopher, but like societies need an enemy image in order to coalesce. Ever heard that before? So maybe Hitler. I'm not. I don't know much about it. They create like an enemy. The Jews are the enemy. So, and those are the enemy, and like we need to wipe them out. What's really evil about that is there actually wasn't an enemy. So he was just creating races of people that he's like, they're wrong, we're right. The entire nation gets behind them for an arbitrary reason. The Germans aren't evil. It's just their leadership is, and convinced them at a time of ignorance to go after these certain things.
Right.
That's real evil. Now, you have to get into it. Was Hitler just abused as a kid? I don't know. Is his brain chemistry off? Or was it just power? Was it like, I get into power and I want more power, I'll do this, and like the power led to evil acts,
So I think this is, we're getting to the zone of the Egregore here. We've chatted about this before.
Yes.
What was that? Who wrote that book? We'll find that in a second. But the idea of the Egregore is like a tulpa. You know what a tulpa is?
No.
A thought form.
Yes.
It's like you put energy into a creation of a form or a being, an entity that you create. And the more thought and intention and whatever you pump into this thing, the more real it becomes.
Huh. Talking like Slender Man type stuff here?
Yeah, Slender Man, perfect example.
Yeah, yes.
So if
Mark Stavish.
Mark Stavish, yeah,
yes.
Awesome book if you can find it.
He's really somebody awesome to talk to. If you ever see like an interview from him, he's amazing. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, the Egregore is basically a group of people. Imagine a whole country of people feeding one idea, and
with
it becomes basically an energy, a thought form, an entity,
like nationalism.
That basically that feeds off this energy, be it negative or it can be positive as well, and then it in turn feeds back into the people. and manipulates, and it's like this cycle of